You know who I am?
Anything you say. Anything you say.
It's official. What's up, YouTube? It's your boy Thomas, back again with another rendition of Truth Be Told. Now this week, we all know that the Trump trials or whatever indictments were all bullshit and it's all falling apart. They're all finding corruption with all these DAs. It's just ridiculous. They're all going down. They're not going to get Trump for anything. In fact, the Jean Earl case, whatever, where the chick, they're making it pay, or they're trying to make it pay millions of dollars to E. Carroll, which lied out her ass, which was proven because they wouldn't let them show any evidence. It's all hearsay. You know, he did nothing to, they don't even know the woman. It's all going to be appealed and rejected as well. They are trying desperately to stick anything to this man because they know he's going to be the president of the United States again. And he's going to get rid of all the corruption, or so he says. He had some bad people with him last time. Hopefully he don't have any rhinos and shit with him this time. And he's actually able to get things done and get rid of all the corruption in our government. Anyways, people are just tired of all the insane leftist cult nonsense. Like, it's ridiculous, you know, that they're, but that's the way, you know, the rich leftist people like the WEF, these feminists, you know, they don't care about anybody but themselves. Everybody else is fucking peasants. And people are just tired of it. They're done. Enough of the shit. Anyways, let's get on and talk about what I really want to talk to you about this week. I just finished up that... I forced myself to watch the whole season for you guys, so you wouldn't have to. Because it was awful. Like, no offense to the guy who wrote Percy Jackson, but if it wasn't really his story, if Disney, well, you know Disney had some influence in it. If Disney's the one who fucked this all up, then shame on them. I'd be a pissed off motherfucker, because the show was just absolutely awful. You know, and I wanted to like the show. I really did, because I'm real big with Greek mythology and shit. But it was just, God, it was like pussy sissy boy shit. It was terrible. Almost every episode he has some kind of monster coming after him, right? Because, you know, what, him being a half-blood or what the fuck ever, you know? But the thing is every monster that came after him, it was like they just walked. They didn't run, charge him, try to kill him, you know, right off the bat or anything like. They just slowly walked towards him. Every single monster. I'm like, really? They're literally running. They could have ran miles away before the monster even got close to them. It was that dumb. It really was annoying that they get to Medusa, one of the most feared monsters in mythology. I mean, she was a holy terror. And they put that stupid invisible cap on her face, and then Percy just takes a wide swing and hopes he hits her. And lo and behold, he chops off her fucking head. Like, seriously. That's so dumb. That was one of the most tarded scenes I've ever seen. It was R-tarded. Dumb. And then, let's not forget how racist Disney is with their whole diversity bullshit. You know, that's their word for being racist. And they are. Disney is fucking racist, dude. Let's not forget they race swapped, you know, Athena's little girl. They race swapped fucking Zeus's daughter, and then they race swapped Zeus himself. Nothing against the actor. I actually like the guy, the actor who's who plays Zeus in this, but Zeus is not black. I'm sorry. He's Greek, you dumb fucks. And Greeks are European, which means white. Hello? You effing tards. Disney is so racist. Oh my gosh. And then, of course, the little 10-year-old black girl, she's Miss Bossy Boss. You know, gotta do everything her way, because she knows everything. Yank, 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 yank. They made Percy out to be like this, you know, even though he's, what do they call him, he's a demigod, but he's one of the three brothers, Zeus, Poseidon, and Hades. You know, there's something different about them. I can't remember what they call them. But they're like one child or some shit like that. I can't remember. Because they're from the three most powerful of the gods. Anyways, they make him out to be this pussy. It's really sad. And then I don't know what the fuck was with the Groover character. The satyr or whatever. Satyr? The satyr character? What the fuck, man? Why? Why? I just couldn't stand looking at that dude. He was so ick. I wanted to slap him. He was god awful. Ugh. Some of the worst acting in this show from these kids. It was just downright awful. The story literally made no sense. Why the fuck would the bolt be a fucking golden metal rod? It's so dumb. That's not the bolt at all. If you read Greek mythology, it's, oh my God, just so much about this that was god awful. It was terrible. And then all this mythological creatures been running around since ancient Greek, and no one has seen them. Like they're everywhere. Get the fuck out of here. That's dumb. Anyways, the show was terrible. Absolutely trash. I hated it, but I forced myself to watch it. It was just so... I understand it's supposed to be a teeny bopper book, you know, kiddie book, but man, they went super kiddie trash on this one. It was terrible. They were worse than the movie. This show was worse than the movies. I didn't care for the movies either. I thought they were terrible. Anyways, 2 thumbs down. Percy Jackson and the Olympians are terrible. It's a terrible. It's terrible. It's terrible. I'm sorry. I hope that's not the way the books are, because these live adaptions are just god awful. Do not watch it. I do not recommend it. Some of the worst storytelling ever. Anyways, moving on. Let's get on to your B-movie reviews. Okay, Movieaholics, this week is Sci-Fi Week. And I got 2 strange sci-fis for you. The first one's one I've been meaning to get around for a very long time. I've never watched it. It can also be, they both could be considered horror as well, but I consider them more sci-fi, even though Stephen King wrote the second one. But first one, like I said, I've been seeing it mentioned a lot, but I've never, because it's a cult classic supposedly, but I've never actually watched it. And it's called Videodrome. It was done in 1983. Only made about $2 million. It stars James Woods, great actor, Sonia Smits, and Debbie Harry. Now, when I first started watching this, I was like, okay, this is some weird ass shit. He plays like this talent agent for a cable network. He's going around looking for new TV shows to sign on to their cable network. He's got 2 partners. Now, he comes across this guy he knows, half-assed, who tells him that they're picking up some kind of weird signal off a satellite. So he goes to check it out. It's supposedly some kind of snuff film that supposedly has the signals been hacked or some shit. And it's not very long. But once he starts watching, he's constantly trying to watch it again and again and again. He gets obsessed with it. And then he becomes obsessed on who is putting out this signal. He eventually tracks it down to this supposed guy who's like this weird psychologist or some shit, some professor. But supposedly the guy's dead. He went through the same thing he's going through. After watching these types of videos, he starts supposedly having these hallucinations. And he meets the daughter of the professor or whatever, and she's supposedly trying to help him through it. Well, then he comes across his buddy, who basically tells him, you know, actually, we've been putting out the signal, blah, blah, blah. It's a type of subliminal messaging through, you know, video. And we want control of your cable network. And basically, because he's been so brainwashed by this shit, they're able to manipulate him and turn him into like this assassin form. Because they tell him they want him to go kill his partners and then turn over the cable network to them so they can use it to control billions of people through cable. Or millions of people through cable. Through these subliminal messages. So one of the people they tell him to also go kill is this professor's daughter. Well, she flips it on him and she turns it to make it to where now he's working for her. And she's giving him subliminal messages. So he goes back and he kills the two guys who tried to manipulate him. And then he ends up, you know, deleting himself at the end of the movie. I thought it was a pretty cool take. Honestly, at first I thought, man, this is some sick, twisted shit. Because his girlfriend was all into the, you know, what is that called? Mechanism or what? I can't remember what it's called. Sadism or some shit like that. I can't remember how it's actually called. But it's where people enjoy hurting themselves. Sadist masochist crap, whatever it's called. Anyways, I thought it was some sick, twisted shit at first. But then as the movie got on, I started getting what was going on. And it was all, you know, subliminal messages, making them hallucinate, into turning men into like a sleeper killer. It was actually kind of a neat story. Yeah, some weird special effects in this. It was actually pretty cool. I definitely recommend this movie. It's really cool looking, especially for at least a one-time watch. Some it may not be for everyone. 2 thumbs up. Great movie. I really like it. I'm glad I finally got around to watching it. Alright, let's move on. The next one Was done in 1986. It only made about $7 million. Yes, it's a Stephen King movie. Yes, it's a super cult classic. And it's called Maximum Overdrive. Now this stars Emilio Estevez and Laura Harrington. Now, basically, the story goes, there's this comet that flies by the Earth. The tail end of the comet, it drags some gases over the Earth, and they kind of linger there, and they're supposed to be there for a few days, blah, blah, blah. Well, something happens where it takes over a lot of the machines on Earth, and they start attacking people. But with this particular setting, it's a bunch of trucks, diesel trucks, vehicles, certain vehicles, but mainly diesel trucks. And they're holding these people hostage inside this. They're holding these people hostage inside this diner. And they want them to fuel them up, blah, blah, blah. And they're trying to figure out a way to get away from the trucks. They eventually do, which they could have done at any time. I don't know why they waited so long. It's kind of funny because the whole story is basically centered around one particular gas station out in the middle of nowhere, Timbuktu, and all the trucks are coming there to fuel. Like they show this highway, and it's nothing but tons of trucks coming to this gas station. Even though there's plenty of gas stations, they're all coming to this one. And they showed a couple of scenes where they showed it back in town where there's a bunch of people that's died from some of these vehicles and stuff. It just, that part made no sense, honestly. It was a little off the wall, because it's like they didn't show anything going on in the rest of the world. It's just this one particular area, this one particular gas station. Made no sense. But whatever. Now they have a basement that they could crawl out of, out through like a drainage system. And I don't know why they didn't do it earlier in the movie, but it's like they waited towards the end to do it. So yeah, they eventually get out. And they make their way across town. They kill a couple of vehicles along the way. And they get to the boat marina. And they decide to take a boat that doesn't have electronics. And they kill the big baddie truck with the goblin face on it at the very end. And then you see, you know, it says, and it's almost always like this with a Stephen King movie. At the very end, read a psyops, it says, or psyops, that says, the gases passed by Earth finally, like they said they would. And it's all due because the Russians had a satellite with a laser on it. It shot down a huge big UFO. So naturally it had something to do with aliens. With him, it's either like this giant monster or aliens at the end of the movie. Almost every time. Anyways, Stephen King, he writes some cool stories, but he's loonier than a jaybird. He's an extreme leftist. He's a communist. Go figure the whole Russian part. Yeah, he's been a communist for a long time. But anyways, still, it's a cult classic. Yes, it's cheesy. Yes, a lot of it didn't make sense. But it was still a good movie. Now, the actress who was going over the top, screaming her head off, I would have cold cocked her if it had been in real life. She would have drove me up the wall. The one that got recently married. She did a good job because I wanted to cold cock her. So, anyways, great movie. Check it out. 2 thumbs up. That's all I have for you this week. Tune in next time. If you have any thoughts about what I talked about earlier in the video, please leave your thoughts down in the comment section down below. If you have any suggestions, underrated B movies you think I've never even heard of, please leave your suggestions down in the comment section down below. I'll get to reviewing them as soon as I can. So until next time, I told you you'd be told the truth, and you just been told.